r/AskReddit by Redmond Dts. What's the craziest way you caught an ex being unfaithful? She said her ex was over at her place fixing her car. I know her ex, we were friends. I had to fix his car for him once. He doesn't know which end of a screwdriver to hold. Sounds like he was screwing the driver pretty well. Not a crazy story, but your neighbors can get you sprung. Friend got a text from his neighbor, "You should go home." Didn't elaborate on why. Friend went home, caught the wife in bed with someone else. I came home early unexpectedly. He was out, but the bedroom was a mess, and there were stains. He tried to convince me that it was a poltergeist. Not me but a friend. He found out his girlfriend was cheating on him when he came home to find some naked dude dead on his bed, ambulance arriving, and his girlfriend sobbing in her bathrobe. Turns out the guy was deathly allergic to something my friend always eats, and the girl gave it to the guy, and he ate it and choked to death. Girlfriend was devastated while I helped my friend clean up. He then threw all her stuff out and locked the door after the ambulance left. Since a lot are asking, I'm not going to specify the allergy, it's the food, but not something widely or commonly eaten where and when this happened. I doubt he even knew he was allergic to that food item. His cause of death was determined to be an allergic reaction, and that's all I was told. She wasn't charged with anything, since no one wanted to have what happened be known in public. The bed and mattress was cleaned, he couldn't afford to buy a new one at the time. What also added to the suckiness of it all, if it did become public back then, my friend would have labeled a cuck and be humiliated further. His mom told me. At Thanksgiving. In front of the entire family. She looked at me across the table and said, "I'm so sorry, sweetheart, you deserve to know." He choked on his mashed potatoes. Best Thanksgiving of my life, honestly. His mom and I are still friends. Actually on here. I discovered for months he had been posting in a local NSFW group looking for hookups. It was completely random how I discovered it too. I was gonna take a nap one Sunday. But I decided to scroll Reddit on my phone and get sleepy. I saw a post about a missing girl, and I clicked it, and it actually was about a missing girl that had been discovered in my state very close to where I am. I decided to read some of the comments, and as I was scrolling down, I saw a comment mentioning how that event happened locally to someone. I clicked on that profile, because how random was that? It was him. Full nudes. Nasty requests and propositions. My life changed that day, for the better honestly. It's like the universe rudely showed me my escape to that relationship. I'm so much happier now. But let me tell you, that day in discovery rewired the person I was. She went to Mexico with a bunch of people. I had to work. A few weeks later, this girl walks into my store and comes up to me and goes, "Are you P Shudder?" She knew my full name, even though I had never seen her before. I'm like, "Yes." And she goes, "I just thought you should have this." And she hands me a Polaroid picture of my girlfriend making out with some random dude while jerking off some other random dude through his jeans. Awesome. I worked away, 4 days on, 4 days off. When I worked, I stayed in a hotel, and I came home. Anyway, one night I was particularly toey, so I sent her a few messages, and she didn't respond, which was no real big deal, as neither of us were really that into mobile phones. So I tried calling, no answer. I got a bit worried, cause she didn't drive, and I thought maybe she missed her bus, phone was flat, etc. So I took off for home, picked up some Chinese, got in, had a shower, set the table, and waited. Tried calling a bunch of times, no answer. Ate tea, went to bed at 11, got up at 7, and still not home, so I wrote a note and left it on the bed. Lunchtime she calls me. "Hey, sorry, I was really tired, I got home, watched a movie, and fell asleep." Motherfucker. I said you haven't even been home yet, have you? What do you mean? I have been home all night. Oh really? Because I didn't see you there at all. What do you mean? Well, when you get home, look at the note I left on your pillow. I'll be down tomorrow to pack. I don't know if she cheated. I don't care, to be honest. She could have said she went out with a boss and stayed at her place to get to work the next day. She could have said she stayed at her girlfriend's place. No big deal. She could have said she went out to a nightclub with some mates. No worries. But she lied. Did she try to explain, or just accept she got caught and it's done? Nope, just said, oh, and that was it. Shit you not, there's Spotify. We had a shared road trip playlist, and suddenly it kept showing songs getting added at like 2 AM. Slow acoustic love songs, and stuff I definitely didn't add. Checked the profile activity, and it kept saying, listening with Jason. I'm like, who the F is Jason? Turns out that wasn't a feature, that was my ex's side piece. Her name was logged in on a game on his PlayStation. He upgraded his iPhone and left the old one still syncing to his phone number and iCloud. Every message he received pinged up on his home screen on the iPhone, which was in my house. I wonder how much work iCloud has sent divorce lawyers' way. As a divorce lawyer, plenty. Not my story, but I heard of someone getting a notification that someone 140 pounds stepped on their smart scale at 3 AM. They were away on a business trip. That's how they found out their husband was having an affair. My ex took a trip over to Washington to go get clean off of substances. He was gone for weeks and stopped answering my phone calls. When he finally did decide to reply to one of my many texts, all he did was send me a picture of his girlfriend in the hospital, holding his new baby. He had nothing else to say besides he was sorry, he was polyamorous, and I can join them for a threesome if I was interested in continuing the relationship. F King Puke. We were driving through town. She had just moved here, and near the train station, she points at a pub. She asks me, is that place a hotel? Like, can you stay there? It's pretty close to the train station. And I'm like, yeah, it's a pub with a hotel attached, and thought nothing more of it for about a week. Then all of a sudden, the conversation just popped into my head a week later. Why the hell was she asking about a hotel? And specifically mentioning the train station? I couldn't shake it, even though I had never suspected her cheating. Then one day, while she's at work, I use my computer, and she's logged into her emails. I had never snooped before, but I just needed to know. This was years ago, when emails were a good way to communicate. There was nothing in her inbox to suggest anything. But when I clicked her sent items, there were tons of emails from her to some guy. Turns out, she met a guy in the city one night on a girls' night. They had been talking about meeting up, and he asked her where a close place to the train station was. I printed off the email and left it on the bed for her to find. When she got home, I purposefully left the room and let her read it. Every excuse under the sun why it wasn't her fault and that they had never actually met, but that was enough for me to kick her to the curb. In the olden days, you'd get a paper phone bill with every cell phone call listed. I paid the bills. I noticed a lot of calls from her cell to the same number, one I didn't recognize. I dialed it, and a guy I knew answered. That pretty much told me everything. From what I've seen and heard, people who cheat are by and large very stupid. She was working part-time as a server at an Applebee's, and one day she told me she was moving to another location, due to her and a co-worker getting into several arguments. Whatever, not a huge deal. The night that she worked her first shift at that new location, my cousin texts me and asks me to call her. She had just met my girlfriend and told me she wasn't moved due to her and someone else having disagreements. It was because she was having sex with her manager. I didn't know my cousin worked there, so obviously my girlfriend didn't know, so she decided to begin telling her new coworker all about why she moved stores, how her boyfriend didn't know, that she knew it was a mistake, and she loved her boyfriend so much. One thing led to another, and she asked my cousin her last name, and of course, it's the same as mine. My cousin asks what her boyfriend's name is, and she says it's my name, and my cousin just left it at that, and when she got a second, she contacted me. I waited until my soon-to-be ex-girlfriend got out of work, before I called her, and asked her if she met my cousin who worked there, and she immediately began denying it, that my cousin was lying, and more. I just hung up on her, and later that week took the stuff she had at my house over to her parents' house. He went on a work trip and left his old phone at home. Messages popped up that his female coworker was coming over to cuddle and watch a movie. I saw these while on the phone with him and heard a knock, and he says, "Oh, that's probably Dan, I gotta go." He also cheated on me with his longtime best friend's girlfriend, and I found out while I was at Warped Tour because I was logged into his Skype. Fuck you, Elijah. True story. At the dinner table, my brother says, "Who here thinks they are dating name of my girlfriend? Raise their hand." I raise my hand, and he says, "Not so fast." And then shows me a recent text message where she, my girlfriend, is saying she is dating her ex. She had told me that they had broken up. Literally the very day prior we had had a conversation about when we were going to get engaged, and I had said that I needed to save up for a ring. I was hoping the dinner was you, and like 10 people, and they all raised their hands. He had her living in a tent behind her house, public park. I thought we had a hobo, and I kept telling my kid not to put the ladder by the wall and to stay away. I never saw the person, but even called the city. The ladder kept moving. I thought my kid was spying on the hobo. He told me he wasn't touching the ladder, and I got suspicious. Finally, after working 12-hour days and being so tired all the time, I opened my eyes. Found her bathroom stuff in a backpack in our walk-in closet. I have too much stuff so hadn't noticed. And spread out amongst empty shoe boxes stacked in the closet. Diabolical. I was working out of town. She decided this was a good time to hook up with one of her exes. We just started living together, but she still was on her previous lease. Her roommate, a mutual friend, created an anonymous Facebook account and told me what was going on. I was positive who was telling me, but never said anything to either of them about the anonymous tip. I just pressed my girlfriend until she came clean, basically by saying, "I can tell something is off, and you need to tell me what it is." When I was a freshman in college, I went out to eat with my dad and brother at Applebee's when they came to visit, and my new boyfriend showed up on a date with someone else at the same time I was there with my dad. My brother instantly noticed something was up with me. I'd had a sneaking suspicion for a while, but couldn't specifically accuse her or him. One day I was with her dad, and he accidentally called me the other guy's name. Like the exact person I'd been suspecting. That's how I discovered that for the last 6 months or so, they hadn't been hearing about me at all, only him. This probably isn't that unique, but my ex was such a fucking moron that he used our joint bank card to take his female coworker out one night, and every time he used it, to the tune of $1,000 a night, I would get a notification from our bank. My boyfriend went out drinking with friends. Came home late, 3 sheets to the wind. He wanted Taco Bell and was going to DoorDash it. He was drunk enough he couldn't get into his own phone. I offered to place the DoorDash order from his phone. While I was holding it, he got a notification from Grindr. I'm a woman. He was a straight man, or so I thought. We had been together for 7 years. The notification was the tip of the iceberg. He had a file full of saved dong pics, his own, on his phone too, as well as photos of himself wearing ladies' underwear. We are no longer together. What an awful way to find out your partner is into Taco Bell. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.